$50, or some cases even $30, even $20. And then that safari comes tomorrow. The insurance company will pay the $25,000 to take care of that safari. What I mean is this. Basic definition of insurance company is a promise. Instead of putting your money in the bank, you're giving the money to the insurance company. In return, they're promising you that if something happens, we will be there for you. So from today, I need everybody to understand that when you hear of insurance, it's a promise. A promise that when that thing happens, we will be there for you. Now, all these other things that are going to happen in between is the design work. When you come to the universal, guess this, and I don't, many, maybe they've not heard, but this is what I tell people, and sometimes they say it sounds too good to be true. Guess what? You put into the policy, a universal policy, you hit 60, you add $1 million, you hit age 60, you stop paying, they start paying you. It becomes monetized. It's called guaranteed lifetime income. Now, what happened is that as the insurances were evolving, people realized that not many people are able to be financially okay at age 60. Very good for the law of decreasing responsibility. We use that. But the point is this, and I directly ask this one to our fellow Kenyans. How many of our fellow Kenyans who came here after age 40, they will be at age 60, financially wealthy, that if something hits them, they will be okay, that they see their insurances going. I tell our people like this, protect this. Get a term policy, protect your productive life, protect your home, protect the income, and then start planning from age 60 going onwards. Safari ya mwisho, 25,000. Or if you have a big family and you want everybody to accompany you, then put it 30 or 50. And then taxation in this country is gonna hit you hard. If the little you're having, you're gonna pay taxes as you go along. Get something, and then get onto with your agent. Let them see your budget, explain to you, and decide. This is what we normally use. The time theory, which is how much debt you have. If you hit a turbulence, your family will be in trouble. Income, how much income are you bringing in that if you hit a turbulence, your family will be wiped out. Mortgage, and then for education, if good enough, if you don't have kids have grown, then you're all set. Now, with the living benefits, a life insurance you don't have to die to use. It is becoming very handy. Personally, I have two cases which are very dear to me. I mentioned the last week. One of our ladies who was a very senior nurse, she got paralyzed. She's currently enjoying the living benefits policy. One of my colleagues is a nurse, also she's a nurse. And then she was working with me as an agent too. We gave her a policy. Little did we know that at the age of 33, she started developing heart problems. At the age of 34, she went for a bypass. At the age of 36, it was found that she needs heart transplant. Right now, as we speak, she's having an external pump helping her to pump her heart because they could not get the transplant. Thank God, we had visited with her, talked to her about the living benefits, and she's now enjoying living benefits as chronic illness. What happened is that in the living benefits, if you get terminal ill, the doctor says you're terminally ill, 24 months or less in most states, except Massachusetts, sorry about that, 12, they say 12 months there, you activate. For national life, you activate up to 100% of your policy, subject to 1.5 million. Then chronic illness, when you cannot be able to perform 2 activities out of 6 activities of the daily living. For those ones who are in the nursing field, ADL, you start getting 2% of your total coverage. If you had 100,000, you start getting 2,000 every month until you either exhaust the amount, or you get well, or if you pass on, the money is passed on to your family. Then we have critical illness. That is heart attack, cancer, organ transplant. Those ones will depend on how severe it is. Most importantly is the guaranteed lifetime income. You hit age 60, you've been in the plan for now, in most of the products, 10 years, you stop paying, they start paying you. And that is what we need to really educate our people. Sammy, as I told you, I was kicking off another conference. We are having a conference on Monday at 8:30, whereby we educating people about the safe money management strategies. We are not discouraging you from saving in the market or saving elsewhere, but we are giving you all the options so that, in conclusion, this is what I usually say. Insurance is money. The question is this: however little you had, where did you put it? When any of this one kicks in, where was your money? And wherever you are putting it, did anybody give you an alternative? By the time you reach age 60, will you be having enough to take you from 60 to 90? Because what happened is that we don't want our people to fall into the situation in this country when you know that people started working at age 20. By the time they are in their 40s, they are already in trajectory, reaching age 60, they are financially wealthy. My father-in-law is from here, but he actually retired at 62. When I went to help him transfer his money for his annuities, he pulled up the statements. Some of the pension is 870,000 for 1K, 1 million, and all that at age 62. So you see, some of us, I don't know most, some of the people came here when they are adult. I remember when we come here, we start helping our people home, helping others. By the time you start becoming stable, time is running so fast. So this is the secret. Insurances are the shortcut to help you to catch up. Those people started 100 miles away. You are the one to have the insurance so that should you hit a turbulence, your family doesn't fall into poverty. And then if you reach age 60 and you're going up, you managed. Because in some cases, it might not be even much money. At least you have it at age 60, they start paying you. Thank you, Swami. Maybe we can answer most questions on the Q&A.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mungare. Kefadi, you ready, sir?
Hello?
Yeah. All right. So, Kefadi, there's this famous poet who once said, "The obvious is that which is never seen until something expresses it simply." Tie all this together for everybody so that everybody can get the nuances, the gist of where life insurance and what it means, especially in our community. You had Anne say 9 in 10 Americans believe it's good to have life insurance. What's the statistics that it breaks down to our community? Only 54% of Americans actually have it. When we think about our community, there's that stigma of life insurance is associated with death. We know that's not the right thing. So tie all this together, then we can segue to the question and A. Thank you. Go ahead.
All right, thanks, Sammy. So my name is Kevadi. I'm a longtime resident of Massachusetts. It's been about 3 decades in this cold state of ours, but we're hanging in there. Life insurance is a very dear subject to me, and it all dwells from something we call financial literacy, and that's what we're doing here today. The key foundation of understanding finances. There's someone who once said, if you have no control over your finances, you really have no control over your life. And the most important foundation in your financial house, the most critical thing we need to have is what we're talking to all of us here is life insurance. Annie said it, Humphrey said it, Vincent has said it. It's that key foundation to support that structure. And that's something that I like the statistics that came up. Pretty much 90% of the population believes life insurance is mission critical. Yet, maybe 50% or even less than that have anything going for them. Okay, so let's cover everything. That's some of everything that's been covered today. You know, let's and as we do that, I'm also going to add a few things to the whole component. Life insurance. We're talking about death, and one thing about especially our community, death is taboo. Death is something we don't want to bring to the forefront because it's something that we were raised believing is just something we don't talk about. Death is inevitable. Death and taxes are two things, no matter what, no matter how you slice it. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And that goes to the territory. We have to really embrace this component. We call ourselves responsible. We call ourselves caregivers. We believe that, we were raised in that perspective. But how irresponsible do we get when you have an amazing family of 2 kids, you're married, you have a mortgage, you have children, but how responsible can you feel? How responsible are you knowing deep down inside if something were to happen to you or your significant other, your financial house is falling, and who's the collateral damage? It's those we leave behind. It's those we leave behind. So, folks, as we talk about responsibilities, let's practice what we preach. Okay, it's those we leave behind. Okay, when you're gone, you're gone. It's the land of never, never. But what's going to happen to your young child? What's going to happen to your spouse? How you leave them financially? Life insurance makes sure there's financial continuity. And that is what we need to embrace, financial continuity. You know your financial household is still standing strong. A roof over their head, food on their table. They will still go to college at some point in time. Those are the key elements of what we're trying to propagate here. Let's talk about some things that I'd like to cover as I'm discussing this, Sammy, is one of the key variables. What makes life insurance, be priced out like the way it's priced out. The main ones are your age. The younger you are, like you had earlier, the cheaper it is. You're less risk. You're less. You have less. Your issues to propagate a disease or anything of that nature. Your gender, male versus female. We males have a tendency of exiting this planet before our female counterparts. So it's slightly more expensive for us. Your health is your wealth. The bottom line, you have to stay healthy. All right. Watch what you eat. Watch what you put into your mouth. Health is wealth. That is why a lot of our grandparents live to be old people. Us here in this day and age of luxury cars and everything that we have in this day and time, and lack of exercise and everything else that comes to play with the Wendy's and McDonald's, we put ourselves in risk. And then the coverage amount. How much coverage do you have, and what is the amount of time you're going to be covered for? These are the key things that come into play in terms of how much you're going to be paying. There are a lot of mistakes that come with when it comes to life insurance. Okay, first and foremost is the wrong types of insurance. The first one is a work insurance. You say, you know what, I have insurance, I'm covered at work. For as long as you're working, yes, you're fine. But what happens when you're laid off? In this day and age, this past 2 months alone, the unemployment rate in this country is drastically high. Guess what happens to all your benefits? They are gone with employment. Make sure you're not depending on your employer to be that person who's going to take care of your family's financial affairs. Take it upon yourself. If they issue something at work, take it. A lot of times it's very expensive, but make sure you have something independent. All right? Not enough coverage. You have life insurance, but it's only $50,000. Okay, fine. The average cost of a funeral, you heard, is anywhere between $50,000 to $20,000. If you have a $50,000 policy and you have a mortgage and 2 kids, fine, you have insurance, but how long is that going to last them? The mathematical formula, once you have that 8 to 12 times of your salary, maybe 10 times your salary, the formula is this. You need to live off the interest. You can live off the interest of whatever it is that the death benefit will be. You don't even have to tap into the principal because you're not going to take this money and put it into your checking account. The goal is you're going to work with your financial advisor to invest this money whereby your family can live off the interest. Your beneficiaries can live off the interest. So make sure you have enough coverage. And the biggest mistake we have is you have none whatsoever. None. And I'm talking about that 54% of the population who have none whatsoever. Every new year on January 1st, They make resolutions. This is the year we get life insurance. And then life happens. It's like joining the gym. This is the year we're joining the gym. And then life happens. Make life insurance an absolute priority. Life insurance, folks, is not an expense. It is not an expense. For as long as you view life insurance as an expense, you will never take it upon yourself to get it. It is a necessity. It's a must-have. You have to have it, okay? It's, your cable bill, that's an expense. It's a luxury. People say they can't afford life insurance. Come see me in the summer. Come see me next year. Like, I'm surprised people have crystal balls where we know, come see me in a year from now. I know. Who knows what's going to happen between now and then? And I'm not trying to preach fear. It's a matter of prioritizing yourself. If you have all the channels on your cable, you have 17,000 channels, and you only watch 5 of them, and you're paying $150, and you're telling me, I get it. It's financially we're strapped. But listen, work with your budget. Don't make life insurance an expense. Make it a necessity, a must-have. Okay, those are the key things we need to look into. So in summary, the key thing is this: there are a variety of products. There are a variety of ways to go in here to get what you need. The key thing is this: make sure you're covered. I strictly do term. Like Humphrey said earlier, I'm a term guy. I'm that old school, easy to understand. It's a death benefit. Life goes on. I'm the person who talks about the law of decreasing responsibility. At some point in time, your beneficiaries will not be financially affected, if you did what's right over time. Over time, 30 years down the road, God willing, your mortgage is paid off. God willing, your children are financially independent. All right? It's all about those you leave behind. Vincent has a good point. Okay, fine. What's going to happen to you when you go and your life insurance expires? Okay, yes, there is that element to it. But with policies like what we offer, for example, you can extend your term. Will it cost more? Yes. You don't have to be at $1 million. Okay, you could bring it down to 200,000. So you could bring it up to, if you were paying $100 a month for the past 30 years, you could still pay $100 and make sure you have maybe 50,000 covered, your $100,000. You don't have to have $1 million. There is that continuity. All right. So the key thing is this: plan accordingly, build your foundation, make sure that your family is secure, people. Let us secure our families. It's not about us. It's those we leave behind. Financial independence in of itself, we may attain it. We may never be able to attain it to where we want to be. But let's make sure the financial continuity of your family is intact, the same way you were when you were alive and you were earning an income. That is the summary I'd like to say. Life insurance is not an if, it's not a but. It is a must. So with those few words, those few remarks, we'll open up the Q&A, and I hope you learned something. And for those of you who are still on the fence, please address this. I did 3 policies last week over the phone, telephonic, over the phone. Everything was handled over the phone. We don't have to come to your house anymore. With this whole thing going on right now, we transact over the phone. We will get the nurse to you over the next few weeks in June, when that time frame comes around. But we are doing, business is going on as normal right now, over the phone. We do the application over the phone. It takes 15 to 20 minutes, half an hour max. Everything is clear. You're conditionally covered, and life starts for you at a different angle, and you sleep better at night. Thank you so much for tuning in, and hopefully this was beneficial. Thank you.
Thank you, Kefadi. So I'm going to open it up to the Q&A. As I mute everybody, if somebody has a question, this will be the time that you ask. Kefadi and any of the panelists, I just want to ask you guys this one here. So most people do say it's good to get covered. It's good to get covered, which is, hold on one second. So saying it's good to get covered. So most people will rely on the life insurance that is offered at work. My question to you is this one here, which we've seen this one here mostly in people in our community. If you rely on the insurance that you're given at work, what happens if you get fired? If I think you can take that.
Yeah, and I think I touched that already.
Yeah.
This past couple of months, there's a lot of layoffs going on out there. And I can guarantee you this: once your employer gets rid of you, the goal is cutting. It's all about cutting costs. It's either they turn off the lights at your place of work, or they cut off the biggest liability they have in terms of finances. It's called payroll. All right. So once you're let go, trust me, your benefits are done. You have no more health insurance. You have no more life insurance. It's over until the next episode when you find someone new to insure you. And guess what? You're getting older. And so, but you're getting older year by year. And the older you get, the higher the premiums. So make sure you have something independent of your employer. Your benefits are only as good as when you're employed.
Good stuff. Any questions from the folks who have tuned in? You can ask the question right now.
As you're waiting for the question, let me also jump in on that for the employer insurance. The employer insurance, write this word down. It's a shelter. The shelter you kick out any moment. You have no control. They give you a benefit to hold you when they need you. As soon as it ends, or as soon as they decide you're not there, you're gone.
All right, perfect. Thank you for that clarification. Anybody with an open general question, remember that, like we said, you can post any questions on the chat box, or you can post it on any of the forums where you saw this message. I believe the question that was asked on the chat box has already been answered, but if anybody else has any questions, feel free to ask.
Yeah, this is coming out here. Why is our community so scared of getting life insurance? It's crazy. They always shy away from it, and I don't understand why.
Annie, you want to take that one, or Humphrey?
I think in most cases our community is they have that notion they know too much, and they listen to people who cannot. They listen to people who cannot. You meet a neighbor who does not know insurance. You talk to them about their insurance, they tell you, "Oh, it's a hoax," because I've talked to so many Kenyans, and the biggest problem they have is they're thinking two possibilities. One, they're going to enlist you and they don't want to do it. And the other one is you want to know their personal affairs too much, And I think that's the biggest problem, because in most cases you should think like what Kibaki said. What are you going to leave for your family? What are you going to leave for your kids? Because in most cases, people come here and say, you know what, in 2 years I'm going back to Kenya. I'm not, or I'm not going to put in money for this because I'm going back. And 10 years down the road, they're still here, And they should ask themselves, when you are here, just do like what the Romans do. Try to get some life insurance, because in most cases you're going to get married, you're going to buy a house, you're going to do all these things. Just get it and get over with it.
Good stuff. What about you, Anne? Do you have anything to add on that?
Yeah, so I believe some of the people, it's just an issue of procrastination, as somebody actually probably said. They're just thinking, okay, I don't need it now, I'm younger. I'm going to need it when I'm older, just because of this notion that it's for people who are about to die. And as I think it's Mungare who mentioned that it's not for death, it's for the living. Obviously, that is not true. So it is just a cultural thing too. Maybe they're just used to doing how they do it. People just, when someone passes away, they do a fundraiser, and I guess they just think it's okay. So I guess it's a couple of things, just that whole procrastination thing, thinking I'll get it when I need it, when I feel like now I'm getting older. But obviously, we know that's not a good route, because as you grow older, it gets more expensive. You have medical things coming up, so it's even more expensive. So I guess I would say that's what it is, because from what I've noticed, most of the folks in the US, they're really pretty open about it. And maybe I would also add that maybe they haven't seen it in our culture. So in the US, a lot of families, they inherit life insurance. Their folks give them life insurance when they pass away, and they inherit, say, 100,000, and that's what goes towards their school or their college fees or startup life. So it's kind of something that's passed down the line. So I guess it's our duty now to start having that culture instilled in our community, so that we can have that going forward for us, because that's how they create wealth. It's not that they have so much money sitting in the bank account, or in 401k or whatever, but it's just the discipline. Or when someone starts earning, when they just get a job, they just get a life policy, and it's a huge policy, and they have their grandchildren or the children and the grandchildren as beneficiaries, and that goes a long way to making sure that legacy of doing something with your grandkids and your family. So I think that's something that we don't have because we all know back home people don't do that as much. People just pass away and they're buried in whatever, and people just chip in, and that's kind of how it ends.
Yep. Kepa, did you have anything to add on that?
Yeah, this is what it boils down to. It's not just our community. It's basically the population in general. It's something called financial literacy. And that is something that is never taught in school. It's never taught in college. And we learn through a lot of mistakes. And so we need to take it upon ourselves to really, honestly, come to understand what are we doing with our hard-earned money. We work so hard. We are working, we're putting in hours, 40, 50, 60, 72 hours a week, 80 hours a week. And you have that like checking out. You're working in an environment whereby you have a 401k plan, and you have never, ever taken the time to understand it and incorporate it into your payroll as a deduction. Pre-tax. It's financial literacy, and so does life insurance, because we don't know any better. And that is why these forums, these seminars, these sessions are mission critical. Financial literacy in the whole country is at an all-time low, specifically in our diverse communities. We people of color, African Americans, Africans, Asian, not Asian, excuse me, Latinos. We just don't talk about it at the dinner table. We were never brought up understanding finances, and we just never get to know it. So we need to take it upon ourselves, and we need to have these forums discussed. Great question.
Perfect. Any other questions? I'm going to open it up to the group. If anybody has a question, you can ask. As we wait for the folks to ask any questions, our panelists be prepared to do like a minute and a half closing statement so that we can be able to respect the time for everybody. So one last question from anybody in the group. Everybody is unmuted.
Look, Francis, say something. Francis, say something. I'm looking at you.
Mr. Kiranga.
Thank you. I wanted to make a comment first and then a question.
Yeah.
When I was back in Kenya many years back, as I was growing up, we had a speaker one time that if you had two new vehicles and you had a white man and an African, and you gave them the keys to drive, before you take any moment, the African will drive and have reached his destination, but the white man will not drive. He'll ask you, is it insured? What he meant is the vehicle insured before I drive it. What he meant is that people in this part of the world have lived with it, grown with it. With us, we did not grow with it. My age is a bit advanced.
Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I said my age is a bit advanced, but there's no excuse for even myself and the younger people who are coming up. Now, my question is, when you come to the children, I've seen a children cover, the children cover, insurance cover. What does it cover, and how much have you done to influence the parents about the children?
All right, I can take on that.
And is it,
I can take on that one.
Is
So
it
first and
transition?
foremost, yeah, I can take on that one. So basically, so when it comes to that, it's called a child rider. Okay, so a child rider basically, and this is something that no parent wants to discuss or bring up. It's actually one of the toughest questions on the application. And the question goes something like this: in the event of the untimely death, of your child, are you willing to add an extra $6 a month for $10,000 worth of coverage for up to 10 children? So automatically, right there, the first thing that registers, oh my God, death of my child. So 6 out of 10 people tell me they don't want to get involved with that because it's an emotional thing. Okay, but all this it's a funeral expense. If you were to lose a child after they were born up until age 25, we will help you to bury your child. It's called a child burial, and so that's all he does up to age 25. At least for my company, you know, $10,000 up to 10 kids, $10,000 up to 10 children for only $6 a month. You know, that's basically what it is. So it's strictly a burial expense if you were to lose your child.
Good stuff. So now let's do like a 2-minute, 1.5 minute closing statement. Annie, I'll start with you. If you can go ahead. Go ahead, Anne.
Oh, sure. So first I'd like to say thank you to the organizers for giving me this chance to speak, and everybody else who was in the call. My word for you is that do something. Don't procrastinate. Get something. If you need more information, call one of us and speak to us, just so you can have a little bit more understanding. Probably have some numbers run for you so you can see how that works for you. Because as we said before, it is all it's based on a life of an individual. So you would not know your numbers until you run them. So if you're there on the fence, if you're there thinking what to do, what this actually means for me, you've taken the time to listen. Call us up. We are doing Zoom meetings right now. We are doing phone call interviews. We can set up I can set up a Zoom meeting with you. And I'm sure my colleagues as well. And we just help you out just to understand your situation, all right? So with that in mind, thank you so much for the time again. I appreciate the opportunity, and thank you. Good night.
Thank you. And Mr. Humphrey?
For mine is simple. I want to thank everybody who was in the call today. But the other thing I want to assure people is the people who got insurances before, because I know many people have gotten insurance, they don't know how it works and what it is. Call us. We'll come and look at it for free. We'll look at it, advise you if it's the right one. If it's not, we try and see what we can do to make sure you get the right one. But if you have the right one, definitely we're going to leave you with the right one. But we'll do everything necessary to educate you and to help you in this process, because at times it looks tedious, but we'll do it for free. We'll talk to you, make sure all your T's are crossed properly, and then make sure everything is fine for your family. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mungare.
Thank you so much for everyone for tuning in, and more especially the organizers, as Mr. Kibati and I think Anne, both of all the panels, they put it very clear. What is missing in the community is education. Our people, as I say, our people are perishing because of lack of knowledge. You're waking up every day to go and look for money or for wealth out there. Think about it if you don't come back. People have not started thinking about it. And then the generational transfer of wealth. Right now, most of our people, the common thing they are buying is maybe land or something like that. We need to continue with this kind of education and tell them in America or with this kind of life at this moment, even that land you're buying, anything you're buying, without a life insurance as a foundation, it will be wiped out. Transferring that generational wealth, ensuring that anything that you build will transfer to your family. Put that foundation, and the foundation is the insurance. If the question you should ask yourself, and I think Mr. Kibati put it very well, should anything happen to you right now, will your family be able to sustain the lifestyle you have put them in? Will your projects continue? If the answer is no, you need the insurance immediately. And then up to age 85, you can always get insurance out there. Because the question is, if the safari is going home or wherever, do you have money, the ticket? We should start knocking these things down because people are living in denial. They have already told the community that when that time comes, I'm going home. Where is the ticket? And Anne is with the company they're dealing with, very good production whereby they can give you a very easy from 5,000 or even lower if you want incrimination, 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, 20,000. Any insurance agent can walk you through. What Mr. Kibati and Humphrey are very much emphasizing is also that productive life. You are working very hard. You're putting all this energy, but that foundation, if it is knocked out, you're done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mongare. Kefadi, then I'll come and conclude.
I'm gonna start off my final point here by saying the best consumer is an educated consumer. The best consumer is an educated consumer. Know your products. Know the needs about it. Do your research and make it happen. I have been an agent for 15 years. I do this as a part-time gig, but this is the most fulfilling part of my productive life in terms of my earning life. I do want a paycheck for my 9 to 5, well and good. But there's no other satisfaction I get as when I know I've changed a family's trajectory by virtue of educating them and making sure that they're secure. In the past 15 years, I've had, I'll call it a misfortune of having lost 3 clients. But this misfortune came with a lot of gratitude because I know, and one of them is actually my very best friend. He lost his wife. He's a man who's very close and dear to me. He's a single father. And I have seen that boy grow since age 4 when his mom passed away until now when he's 13. We actually circumcised him the Kikuyu way last summer around here. He's now a young man. He's a Mwanake. And I stood by him. It gives me a lot of joy knowing that I had something to do with the fact that this family is financially stable. This young man goes to an amazing private school, and the father has been able to take over his life and do amazing things. Folks, life insurance is a must-have. Let's not even double think this. Let's not even, it's a must-have. Have it. Please, it's not for you. It's for those you claim to love, those you leave behind. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kefadi. I want to thank all the panelists, and Gatitu, Humphrey Mutindwa, James Kihungi, Vincent Mongare, and Chris Kebati. One thing I came to learn or come to appreciate in life is being given real life examples, whether it's examples that are derived from your grandparents on the way they lived, or your parents on the way they lived, or the way you're living and imparting it to your kids. You guys have given us real life examples of how you've been able to change the lives of your clients. It's not even your clients. Some of them are as close as your best friend. That's really important. The most important thing is, like, this is the knowledge that we've been getting over the past 2 sessions. Today we've had up to 29 people logging in. The last time we had 40 to 50 people and 130 to 135 people tuned in YouTube. That tells us that the conversation is ripe. I want to challenge all the panelists, whatever forum you're on, continue the conversation. The most important thing, like a famous poet said, the only people who see the whole picture are the ones who step out of the frame. So thank you for encouraging us to step out of the frame and to look at the whole picture, to look at the pictures of our loved ones and say, if I'm not here today, how will you be? Financially, will it be secure? And the knowledge that you guys have imparted on us, we just want to thank you, and we want to continue encouraging our fellow community members to tune in to make sure that the knowledge is also passed on. Like I said before, this session was brought to you by SAMRACK News, Diaspora News and Updates, Wakenya Pamoja, and KEMEN. And I just want to thank everybody who tuned in today. For me, from my family to yours, be safe, and have a good night, guys. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers.
Yep.